Where did you?
What is up, everybody? Dr. Kane here. Bigjuicyhog here, and I wanted to talk to you about my old friend, Diablo 3. Tons of nobody have asked me, should I still play it? So I wanted to answer the not a single person who asked me what my opinion is on it. So Diablo 3 is an ARPG by Blizzard Entertainment that released way back in 2012. It was a follow-up to the all-time great games of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. There's a lot of controversy with the launch of the game, from bork to launch servers, always online being required, absolutely dumb game tuning, and of course the infamous real money auction house. This review will be more for people who either left the game all those years ago, or maybe are just now getting into Diablo or ARPGs in general. For those of you who left in the first couple of years of the game, Diablo 3 is definitely a completely different game now. If you played it at launch, you're looking at a different experience altogether. What does Diablo 3 have to offer? Well, let me break it down for you. The story in Diablo 3 is pretty good. Blizzard has always, in my opinion, been good at telling a story, and it follows your character, the Nephilim, on their quest to work their way through the denizens of hell and save the planet, yet again. You get 4 acts with the base game that takes you through the eerie New Tristan, which happens to be just down the road from the Tristram that was your home base during the original Diablo all those years ago. Act 2 will take you to the desert city of Chaldeum, where you'll be hot on the tail of Belial, another of the aspects of hell. Act 3 sees you in the snowy peaks and the fortress of Bastion's Keep, where you'll be taking on Azmodan, yet another Diablo's brothers. Act 4 is where you venture into hell and take on Diablo himself, or herself. And Act 5 sends you to Westmarch, where you go to take down the fallen angel Malthael. I would 100% recommend getting Reaper of Souls, as it made significant changes to the game and added a nice extra story element to it as well. You'll get a good amount of playtime your first time through the campaign, and will have a lot of nooks and crannies to explore as you level up. Once you make it through the campaign, you should be ready for Adventure Mode, which contains all of the end-game content that you'll be running over and over again. Overall, I like the campaign, and Blizzard still put in some of the absolute best cinematics in the entire business. Now on to the end game. The end game is based around Adventure Mode, which has a number of activities that you can complete. First of these is Bounties. When you enter in Adventure Mode, there will be bounty nodes in all acts. If you complete the bounties in an act, you'll be rewarded with a Herodric Cache, which will have a lot of good stuff in it, including gear and crafting materials. The second kind of endgame content, and probably the most important, are rifts. There are 2 kinds of rifts, which I will break down. Regular rifts. You open up a portal to a Nephilim proving ground, where you end up with more or less randomly generated levels with random enemies. Loot drops all over the place, and the higher difficulty, the more loot you get. Once you've killed enough enemies, a boss will pop up for you to stomp into the ground. Defeat the Rift Guardian, get your shiny loot, and be on your way. Regular rifts are a good place to obtain loot, crafting materials, and blood shards, which are currently used to gamble with the vendor Kadala for different pieces of gear. Regular rifts are based on the standard difficulty levels in-game from regular to Torment 16. The second kind of rift is a Greater Rift. The Greater Rift is a timed rift run that does not drop any loot until you take down the Rift Guardian at the end. This is the true endgame and what people measure their Diablo penis size with. One of the rewards from Greater Rift Guardians are legendary gems that do some pretty crazy stuff. Finishing a Greater Rift also lets you pick a legendary gem to upgrade. There are a couple of other things to do, including fighter uber versions of the bosses to obtain crafting materials to make powerful jewelry that has class passive skills. The key to face these ubers is obtained by facing the Key Warden in any given act to obtain a key. They're notated on your adventure map with the key, of course. One nice thing about Diablo is that there's no disadvantage to playing in a group. As a matter of fact, there are a number of advantages to doing so and 0 drawbacks. Some other ARPGs, PoE, make it a pain in the ass and a disadvantage to play in a group. Diablo has no such problems. For those who like the game, but wish they could start over, there are seasons. Each season starts you off fresh with a new character, or an already created character that you can rebirth into the season, which puts you at level 1. You have to level back up, gear back up, and do the grind all over again. Some people are probably wondering, why would you do that? Same reason you prestige in Call of Duty. You want to play the game, and the regular experience just isn't providing the progression that you would like. Gear. Gear in Diablo 3 is plentiful, but you really do get painted into a corner for what you use if you want to do your best. Sets are pretty much mandatory. If you're not geared in a set, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. Set bonuses are so powerful that it's nearly impossible to pass up. Once you get all of your pieces, all there is to do after that is get better pieces of the same gear. You aren't going to pick up a random yellow like in PoE that has a god roll. Yellows are for leveling, and you will never wear one again at endgame. They're all basically turned into crafting materials. So now on to classes, skills, and build diversity. There's several classes to choose from in Diablo 3 and they're all pretty fun. Melee classes include Barbarian, Crusader, Monk, and Necromancer, if you have the expansion. And range classes include the Demon Hunter, Wizard, and Witch Doctor. All of them are viable classes and can be played well into the endgame. If you're looking to group at the highest level, there are specific classes and builds that groups are looking for. Each class has several different sets that make sure that you can try out several different builds for each class. Skills in the game are pretty standard as far as ARPGs go. As you level up, you unlock more skills and can slot them into your slots as you want. There are also a number of passive skills to choose from depending on your build. Combat. Last but certainly not least is the combat. I really feel like combat is the area that Diablo 3 excels in the most. The skills feel awesome and smooth. There's something incredibly visceral about the way you explode and eviscerate demons throughout the game. In my opinion, Diablo 3 has the most fun and smooth combat in the entire genre. So if the main thing you're looking for is great combat, Diablo 3 is right what you're looking for. So, my conclusion. Should I get Diablo 3? With both Diablo Immortal and Diablo 4 looming on the horizon. If you haven't played since the first couple of years or are new to ARPGs, then absolutely. The game is still fun, relatively easy to learn, and looks decent for a game that's starting to get up there in years. It has some of the best, if not the best, combat in the genre. It's a great ARPG for beginners and can give you hundreds of hours of fun. If you're looking for a hardcore grindy kind of ARPG, then Diablo 3 may not be for you. You're probably looking for something closer to Path of Exile. I personally would highly recommend Diablo 3. It's one of my favorite games of all time, despite its problems. Well, that's the video for today. I hope you liked my explanation on if you should get Diablo 3 or not. If you do like my content, please like and subscribe, and I've got some other ARPG videos and MMO videos in my library. You guys have a good one.